everybody, it's Missy. Thanks for joining me again. This time I'm making a layout for my scraps and more, and I'm using a free cut file that Audrey created that's available in the store. I decided to go with the squares, and when I cut it out, I wasn't sure what exactly I was going to do with it. Sometimes I have an idea in mind with a layout, and sometimes I don't. So I decided to start out by just using some distress ink and smudging it over the top. I wanted to create like a subtle square background on my white cardstock, so I just added the blue to it, and I think that's tumbled glass. It's a really pretty light color, and it matches the sky in one of the pictures that I'm going to be scrapping. So I like the way that turned out. It's really subtle and really pretty, and I like to make sure where I'm going to put my photos on top of it before I keep going, so I know what direction to go to, because I don't like to do a lot of background work where I know my photos are going to go. So if I know they're going to go in a certain spot, then I'll just kind of avoid that area. I decided to add some watercolor, so I took some plastic packaging that some embellishments came in and just added the watercolor to it, flipped it over, and smudged it around. And I've seen Urit use this technique a lot, and I really, really love it. It's a great way to add lots of color without getting really messy, and you don't even have to use gesso on your paper. I mean, it's not that much water at all, so it doesn't warp your paper, and you can see the results you get. I mean, it covered a lot of the paper, but it didn't get really messy at all. But it created a messy look, which is what I was going for. So I added some splatters in the same color, and then I'm going to come in with my napkin and do a little bit of dabbing just to help speed the drying process along, because I really don't use my heat gun a whole lot for this type of thing. I wanted to add some more of the light blue, so I just dabbed the ink pad onto the plastic, added a little bit of water, and smudged it again, and I really, really like how that turned out. I like the different tones that I'm getting there, and I think it's going to match my pictures really pretty. Now, the pictures I'm using, it's the same picture, it's just one's in color and one's in black and white. I'm using the I Am collection from Simple Stories, and let me just tell you, if you have not seen that in person, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Oh my gosh, I opened it up and I just stared at it for forever and thinking, I have no idea where I'm going to start, because everything was just so pretty. There's my lovely head. Oh, good grief. Anyway, so I knew I wanted to add a little bit of black into the page because of the black and white photo, so I pulled that sticker strip off and used that as a base that my photos are going to kind of sit on. I guess you could say kind of like a shelf. I decided to go back in and use the stencil, and it's going to cover the part that I created in the beginning, but that's okay. That was just an experiment to see where it was going to go, and I actually like this better because it's still subtle, but it gives lots of texture, and it kind of pops off the page without being overpowering. So I went through the 6x6 paper pad and pulled out a couple of solids. Well, they're not really solids. There's some patterns on them, but they're more solid color to back my photos on. I like that yellowish and that pinkish color. Using my favorite glue ever to glue that down, because I know that that's going to stay there. I'm not going to want to move that again. So gotta make sure that's straight. I'm very OCD when it comes to making things straight, which is very strange because my background is anything but straight. Who knows? I'm bipolar when it comes to scrapbooking, I think. I like it messy, but I like it neat. Who knows? My brain works in some crazy ways, let me tell you. Okay, so that's some, what is that? That is Heidi Swapp Color Shine. I love the black, and I just add some splatters. That is a stamp set from Bow Bunny. I think I bought that from Joann's several months ago. I really like it. I like the arrows and all the different things. You can use it on any type of layout. I love stamps like that. So I'm going to add some with some of my stays on here and there. Sometimes I just like random things. I just go through my stamps and see something I like, and I'll say, I like this, let's use it. Sometimes I'm very methodical in planning out what I'm going to put on a page, and sometimes I'm very random. I'm just spur of the moment. I'll pick that up, stamp it on there, and there you go. I think these are from Heidi Swapp those little tiny triangles. I'm really liking how this is turning out so far. I like the colors. I like the background. Washi tape. I have a huge collection of washi tape, and I'm not sure what brand these little triangles are, but I just wanted to add some more of that darker teal color into the underneath the cut file there. And I like to add some to the top and the bottom just to give a little bit more interest there and a little more pop of color. And I like to tear it. I don't think I just use it straight much anymore. It just depends. I'd like to tear it. I think I tear almost all the tape on this one. And there's my favorite tape ever. And it's pretty boring. It's just black and white stripes, but I use that stuff on so many layouts, especially when you tear it. I don't know. I just really like it. And it's from Michaels. It's the Recollections brand. And I think I should just go buy up a whole bunch of it before they stop making it, because I'll be really sad when I run out, because I sure do use it a lot. And they have it in several colors. I think I have it in all the colors, but I use this black and white stripes a lot. Do you turn your layouts upside down and sideways a lot? I flip it. If I'm putting stuff on, it's upside down, it's sideways. I gotta make it straight as possible and make sure it looks right. So now I'm just gonna go in and start adding little doodads. I like to call them little doodads, little embellishments, little stickers, little pieces of chipboard. I kind of went through and looked at all of the sticker sheets of, you know, words and things that could be titles and hearts and things like that, and I pick a lot of those things depending on what color they are, because like in my top corner there on the left, I wanted to make sure I had some green, some black, some yellow, and some of that pink color. So I looked through everything to see what I could find that would represent all those colors. I cut the word lucky on my Cameo. I cannot remember the font. If you want to know it, I will look it up and get it for you. But off the top of my head, I don't remember. I used a 6x6 paper pad to cut it, and I really like that scripty font. I love that L. It's just so pretty to me. So I know there's a lot of, you know, grateful, thankful, lucky sentiments going on in this collection. So it made me think of the word lucky. And the picture was actually taken on St. Patrick's Day a couple years ago, and I really liked the picture because it's of both my girls, and they're at my father-in-law's fruit packing house. That's where he keeps his golf carts and four-wheelers and things like that, and we go down there a lot, and the girls like to run around and look at things. And so I was squatting down trying to catch pictures of them because they never stop. If I want pictures of them, I have to get on my knees and wait for them to come toward me to take pictures of them, which this was a couple years ago. They've gotten a little bit better, but I just have to get action shots. And so they were both walking toward me, and I really liked the way it turned out because they're both totally ignoring me, but they're walking toward me, and Paige is looking like, you know, I'm the boss of this place, and Reese is behind her. And I like the arch of the shed, or it's not a shed, it's where he keeps a bunch of machines in there, and it's just a rounded building. I just like the way the photo turned out. The perspective of it looked really neat. So I stitched some when you weren't looking. I cut that out. I didn't figure you want to see that. So I'm adding some thread. I love to add tangled thread, and I wanted a little bit more interest there on the left. So I took some of my sewing thread and tangled it up and added it to the sides. And I think I glued that down. Yep, there I go. I hope this makes sense because my computer it keeps freezing, and so I'm having to splice together my narration here. So if it sounds like I'm not knowing what I'm talking about, it's because it keeps freezing on me. So I have no idea why it's doing that, but so I added a couple of flowers to the sides, some more sentiment stickers that come in this collection, a couple more little hearts and things. There is so much in this collection. It is really pretty, and Audrey has it available in the My Scraps and More store, so if you haven't seen it or if you like it, check it out. I like to use a T-square ruler to draw lines for my journaling because I cannot draw a straight line by myself to save my life. So I usually do that in pencil, and then I'll go back through with my Sharpie fine-tipped pen and write my journaling out. And usually I'll just trace over the pencil lines with my pen, and if you can see them, I'll go back and erase them, but it's not that big of a deal to me. Add a little bit more black there. And some flare buttons from a Flair for Buttons. I love Flair. I think they just really set off a layout and add the perfect little touch there. I picked out 3 that were basically black and white, so I could add a couple more pops of the black and white, and that's pretty much it. So here's the layout. It's finished, and I did add a little bit more stitching, but not too much. And here's some close-ups, and if you stick around to the very end here in just a second, I will have the website up for my scraps and more. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.